Hey everybody, Aaron Cowan, Sage Dynamics and Sage Instruments, here to bring you the newest Sage Instruments product, the Modular Magazine Release. About 6 years ago, with my first Gen 3 Glock, I had an idea. And that idea was to provide a modular magazine release, a release that could allow you to interchange the release pad without actually having to replace the entire mechanism. Something simple, something with a screw back, something very easy for the end user to change out their magazine release size without having to replace the entire part or without having to purchase multiple magazine release sizes. And it just didn't exist, and at the time I didn't really have the ability to facilitate it on my own, so the project took a few years to come to fruition. When I initially got sponsored by Agency Arms, one of the first things I did was talk to Randy over there about the modular magazine release, and it's been pretty much in development since then. What I wanted to do, just like I said, was bring something to market that allowed a shooter to change out their release size based on what they're doing. Now, shooters' hands are going to come in a variety of sizes, and the OEM magazine release isn't always going to work the best for them. One of the consistent problems with the Gen 3 Glock has been the OEM size of the magazine release coupled with the lack of a cutout or a scallop, if you will, around the release surface as you see on more modern handguns, including, you know, Gen 4 Glock. They definitely adjusted the material as they did even more on the Gen 5. But the Gen 3 is probably the most prevalent Glock, so we wanted to start there, offering a solution for the Gen 3 shooters. What this allows you to do is go from an OEM plus size, if you want to call it that, it's slightly larger than your standard OEM, to an intermediate and then to a large or a competition size without having to remove the entire release. So if you use one gun for carry and you use that same gun for competition, you could very easily be at the range with your Allen key, swap out the pad sizes, shoot your match, and then swap back to your carry size before you put people ammo back into your gun and get in the car to drive home. This also allows you to purchase one kit so you can try out 3 different sizes to figure out which is going to work best for you, instead of the trial and error, which can lead you down the road of having a small drawer full of magazine releases that you tried, they didn't work, kind of hard to resell something that small, and you just end up collecting them unintentionally. So let's go through the 3 sizes. Size 1. This size is, like I said, very, very similar to the OEM size. I consider it the standard size for your carry. Depending on your method of carry, if you're left-handed or right-handed, you may have holster concerns or general concerns where your gear, your belt, the way you sit, may actually hit the release. Obviously, if your holster is doing this, you should probably get a different holster or modify that holster, but if this is a concern that you have based on the environment that you work in, and this is definitely a concern for left-handed individuals because the magazine release is going to face out as opposed to a right-handed shooter where it's going to face in, you may come in inadvertent contact with the edge of a table or something like that, could actually hit your release and you wouldn't even realize it. So the more flush it is to the frame of the gun, the better it's going to be for concerns like that. Size 2 is probably my favorite, the enhanced size. This gives you additional height on the magazine release, but it also gives you a forward ledge. This is something that I found that's beneficial for right-handed shooters as well, who use their thumb to release the slide, because it gives you more release on the bend of the thumb as it comes around the frame of the gun. And then size 3 would be your competition size. It's oversized, if you will, but not such to an extreme degree that it's going to interfere with your grip itself. Some of the larger releases that are out there, the more competition-focused releases that I've tried shooting right-handed as well as left-handed, they've come into contact with other fingers when I didn't want them to during my grip, not only during the release of the magazine, but actually during the grip, the shooting grip. And that's kind of problematic because you could inadvertently hit the release when you don't want to. So we wanted to give you a competition, if you will, size release that wasn't so large that it's going to come into contact or disturb or cause you to change your grip in any meaningful way. Now, the MMR from Agency Arms is currently only available for the Gen 3 Glock, but the Gen 4 Glock is in development as we speak. As is my nature personally with Sage Instruments, I'm not willing to bring any product to market until I'm convinced it's as good as it can get without a large sample pool feedback from the public to see if any changes need to be made. Just the example is the original MMR, the one you're seeing now. Took some extensive testing before I was confident in signing off on it and saying, okay, let's bring this out, because I wanted it to work as well as possible. I wanted to have thousands of reps on magazine releases to make sure that it's going to work across the wide variety of shooters' hand sizes, as well as the wide variety of configurations for your Generation 3 Glock. You can get the MMR now from agencyarms.com, as well as your favorite local agency arms distributor. I'm Aaron Cowan for Sage Dynamics and Sage Instruments. Train accordingly.